Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to episode number 21 of Engineering with Shamil. And today we are going to explore a bit more deeper about the emergency lights. Now, we have defined emergency light in my previous video where I said that emergency or exit light is when it operates when there is a power supply failure in the building, in the location. If there is a power supply failure, then only the emergency light turns on. But do you know that there are certain emergency light which actually remains on 24/7 even in normal condition as well? So based on whether the lights operate during normal condition or not, we can classify the emergency lights into two types. So the first type is the maintained emergency light and the second type is the non-maintained emergency light. Okay, so as I said, the difference it actually lies when the light is normally on during the normal power conditions, that is during normal time, whether the light is on or not. That defines whether the light is maintained type or whether it is a non-maintained type. Okay, so this is the key difference that we need to understand between a maintained and non-maintained emergency light. Let's do a comparison. So here if you see in maintained type, during the normal power condition, the light glows. Okay, the light will be turned on. During power failure, yes, the light will be turned on, but you have to understand that if there is a power supply failure, then the emergency light will be switching the supply to the battery side, to the battery backup, which is installed in the emergency light. Okay, so that is the only difference that happens. That is the supply side difference. Now, when it comes to non-maintained also, again, the supply switches, the power switches from the power supply to the battery, but during the normal power condition, non-maintained emergency light will be remaining off. It will be turned on only during the power failure time. Okay, so this is the key difference between the maintained and the non-maintained emergency lights. So let's see what maintained emergency light is in detail. So the light is always on, be it normal condition or be it power failure condition. Okay, so the light is always on in the case of maintained emergency light. So during the normal time, it is on. During the power failure time, it stays on. Only thing is the power supply switches to the battery side, and the energy usage of this emergency light, of this kind of emergency light, it is always higher. Okay, because it's always on, so more energy is being consumed. So that's why it is maintained emergency light. So the energy consumption is high. So the maintained emergency lights are normally used in cinemas, theaters, corridors, public areas, etc. So it's always on regardless of night and day. So this is about maintained emergency lights. Now we will move on to the non-maintained emergency light. So if you remember, as I said in the beginning of this video, the emergency light is actually off during normal condition. So that kind of light is actually non-maintained emergency light. So if it is during the power failure time, then only it will turn on. Okay, so during normal time it is actually off condition. During the power failure time, the light will turn on and it becomes battery powered, and the energy usage of these lights will be always lower. Okay, it is always lower because the light is being operated only during the time of failure. So this is why this is the difference between non-maintained emergency light and maintained emergency light. Okay, just a small correction. If you see in the video, I have mentioned it as maintained emergency light. Please know that it's actually non-maintained emergency light. Okay, so this is just for your information. Okay, and non-maintained emergency light, again there's a correction over there. It's for non-maintained emergency light. So non-maintained emergency light is used in offices, factories, warehouses, staircase areas, etc. Okay, so it is used only when you need it, only when the situation arises, only when the situation of power failure arises, then only the non-maintained emergency light will operate. So to compare, so quickly, okay, so when it comes to normal power, the maintained light will be switched on, the non-maintained light will be off. It will not be operating. Okay, the power failure time, during the time of power failure, maintained light and the non-maintained light will be turned on, and both the power supply will be running on battery. Energy consumption is higher on the maintained is higher for the maintained emergency rate because light is continuously running 24/7 regardless of be it normal condition or the power failure condition. For the non-maintained side, it's the energy consumption is higher because the light is being utilized only during the power failure time. The lamp life for the maintained emergency rate is shorter, whereas for the non-maintained emergency rate is longer. The typical locations for maintained emergency rate, it includes cinemas, theaters, corridors, etc. Whereas for the non-maintained lights, it includes offices, factories, and staircases. Okay, so this is a quick comparison between the maintained and the non-maintained emergency rate. So a simple analogy is that for the maintained type, the maintained emergency rate is for those people who are still trying to comprehend. So the maintained emergency rate is actually like a normal light that glows for 24/7, like a hallway light. Okay, so it glows for 24/7. Okay, so that is maintained emergency light. That's the analogy that you need to understand. Non-maintained emergency light is like a torch which you keep in the drawer. Okay, you take it out only when the power supply goes off. Okay, so that is the difference. That is the difference between the maintained and the non-maintained emergency light. So it is a simple analogy. So maintained light is like a normal light, normal hallway light that stays on for 24/7, whereas non-maintained is like a torch which you keep it inside a drawer. You take it out only when the power supply goes out. So the key takeaway, just to summarize, is that maintained, it's always on during the normal time and also during the power failure time. Non-maintained, it's always off during the normal time and it turns on only during power failure. So both the emergency light will switch to the battery power when the main power is failed. So the only difference lies in their normal state. So remember, maintained light is always lit. Non-maintained light is working on emergency only. Okay, so this is the key takeaway for this video, and I conclude this video. I hope you have understood the difference between the maintained and non-maintained emergency light. In case if you have any queries, questions, doubts regarding this topic, regarding the topic of non-maintained versus non-maintained emergency light, kindly post your queries, questions, doubts in the comment section below, and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you once again for listening to my entire video. And before I sign off, I would humbly request all of you to kindly like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Engineering with Shamil, to produce to motivate me in order to produce more content related to engineering, and it will be actually a motivation for me to produce such content. Thank you once again, and wishing you all a good day ahead. Thank you once again, and signing off.